Yes, I know. I wrote down, I love how you always say
Right.
you teach people to take dominion
Right.
over your money and your life.
Yes,
I love that.
absolutely.
That's a
Well,
powerful
it definitely comes
statement.
from our own personal faith background, and we believe that God has given us the ability to take dominion, and also over our finances. And so we teach just that. And you don't have to be a master at this, a champion at this. And we kind of teach you like the tools to get it started, beginner's guide, as well as we then also graduate you to start to make sure that you start building wealth as well too. So it's something that's very passionate to us and on our hearts, and we're so excited to teach you guys on today.
Well, we are so great. We're so happy to have you, and you provide such wonderful resources for everyone. And I know we only have a certain amount of time, so let me jump into a few of those housekeeping items, and then we can jump into that workshop. So I wrote some notes for myself here so I don't miss anything. First up, everyone, they have created a wonderful PDF resource that we're going to be referencing during this workshop. So if you look into the chat, my colleagues are going to be dropping in a link to that complimentary PDF that you can reference right now. If you happen to have friends that want to see this event and they weren't able to make it right now, don't worry at all. We're going to be recording this and we will have this available for everyone to view afterwards, as well as that PDF. So be ready to share it with your friends because there's going to be a lot of great advice. The other thing I want to mention, feel free. I can already see so many great people chatting. I see someone from St. Louis. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm in Dallas. Where are y'all at right now?
But we love it, or I love it. I like it.
Oh, that's cold. That's cold. Oh, I love Chicago as well. So let us know where you're tuning in from. We have so many great people joining us right now. Feel free to also drop in your questions during this workshop. We want this to be interactive. I'll be looking for those questions and can send those over. So feel free to drop those in. The other thing that I want to mention, we're going to have a giveaway. Of course, we're going to have a giveaway.
If you love free out
we
there,
have to have a giveaway.
Thumbs up in the chat if you love free.
Yes, yes. We are going to be doing some giveaways. So you're going to want to stay with us because, of course, we put those at the end because we have so much excitement between now and then. And with that, I think, did I get everything?
I just want to make sure that everybody can hear us okay. I do see some comments saying that our voice doesn't match the sound or something like that, but it sounds good.
Uh-oh. How are we doing? If we sound okay, can everyone give us a thumbs up? It might be, everybody obviously has different Wi-Fi, so it could be your Wi-Fi. The other suggestion I might have is back out of this live and come back in, and that might correct the audio if you happen to be having trouble. But everybody else sounding okay? I think so. My gosh, we've got a lot of international followers. I see Ireland. I see Guatemala. So neat. Well,
yeah, I see thumbs up.
No problem. And your audio sounds okay. Well, we're just going to keep, I say, let's keep rocking and rolling.
I mean, another thing we can do,
we'll cross our fingers
and to see if that solves it on our end.
I'm seeing, I'm getting, my colleagues are saying that it's sounding okay. So I think we're good. It's probably just a few people maybe having some Wi-Fi issues around the country. You never know. So with that, I want to turn it over to you. Like you're saying, it's a new year. It is the perfect time to start going after those financial goals. And I know you have the tips to get us on the right track. So
excited. Again,
let's jump on in.
Erin Condren for inviting us on here to talk about budgeting money. Again, finances is very important to us, but we always like to start with just a brief synopsis of our personal story to show you that we haven't necessarily arrived. We weren't born like this. We worked our way through this spot and in this position, and we want to be able to teach you the tools that we personally took to get our finances and take them to another level. So a little bit of background. We're high school sweethearts, been married for 15 years, have 3 beautiful children, and it didn't start out that way. We had some money woes, we like to say, in the beginning. One of us was great with money, one was not. One had great credit, the other did not. And then we ended up getting married. We had to figure out how to like do this thing called money and how to manage it very, very well. And so we did that. We had conversations, we started to budget, we started to put our finances in order. And then we were able to become completely consumer debt-free within our first year of marriage. We later went on to accomplish a big goal where we paid off the $330,000 mortgage in 5 years. And so we did that with discipline, consistency, and then we later went on to also start a financial education company. We realized what good is it to master your own finances without necessarily sharing it with others. And so that's really why Hisandhermoney was born and birthed, to be able to help others on their financial journey.
But like my wife said, we didn't start off where we're at today. But one of the things that propelled us to financial freedom was we understood the fact that we needed to get organized with our finances. Because being properly organized is the key to turning things around. If you came here because you have a goal to do
finances, I can almost guarantee you that they're disorganized. If you show me someone that's disorganized, I can almost guarantee you that their money is as well too. And so we realized that without having financial order, you will not be able to succeed and accomplish your goals. So during this teaching, you're going to hear us talk about different resources. We might like show some just like this, the budget book from Erin Condren. It's okay if you missed what we're discussing. We actually created a free guide for you. Erin Condren did not tell us to do it. It's something that we wanted to do because of the teachers in us, the educators in us. We know that a lot of people consume this information and they may not know how to actually walk it out. And so that's why we created a free guide. And in that free guide, you'll find all the things that we'll discuss with you on today, as well as a list of resources of Erin Condren supplies that will help you as well to manage your finances. So let's jump right in.
Yeah, before we get started, be a good friend and hit that share button right next to the comment button and tell somebody that it's about to go down so they can be helped too. So this whole thing, guys, does not start with a calculator. It starts with a mindset change. Your mentality about your finances and specifically your mentality about budgeting has to change. A lot of people hear the word budget and mentally they think negative things. Mentally, they think things like it's going to hurt me, harm me, prevent me from doing the things that I want to do. So the first mental shift you need to understand is that a budget is just a plan that you create. It's your income that you go to work hard for to earn. You should have it organized with a plan. You should stop entering into every single month randomly, because what you need to know is that all of these companies that you shop and frequent with have a plan.
That's right. You
should have a plan. Therefore, if you want something, you've planned for it, it's not a burden and it doesn't hurt you 6 months down the road because you're still paying payments on it because you weren't organized upfront.
That's right. And what's so beautiful is Erin Condren has a budget book. Some of you all may be aware of their A5 budget book. I absolutely love this thing. I love color.
You do.
And I love paper, and I love to write down my goals. And one of the things that they actually mention in the beginning of this book, they want you to discuss how you currently feel about your finances. What is that? That's a mindset. So that's why it's important for you to actually brain dump. How do you feel about your finances? What was the previous 5 years? How did you handle your money? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And then we also take you to the step to make sure that you also write down your goals. So we tell people to do this. Take yourself out on a date. You could be single or married. It doesn't matter. We call it a dream date. Go out on a dream date and just dream. Don't talk about finances. Don't talk about, man, the bills are barely getting paid, or man, I would love to make more money. We want you to discuss what is it that you want to do over the next 5 years. And what we found is a lot of people never took the opportunity to dream because their current financial situation actually crowded their future thinking. And so we want you to figure out what's your goals. For some of you, it may be to start your own business. For some of you, it may be to get out of debt. For some of you, it may be to send your kids to college completely debt free so they don't have to take out student loans, right? Whatever it is, we want you just to dream. And once, yes.
That. I just love that. Taking that time, and then also if you're with your partner to align on what they are. That is so true. And I apologize for cutting you off. I just want to address a couple quick questions. For those of us on the PDF that we're referencing, if you are having trouble downloading that PDF, we do have it available following this event. So do not worry. You will be able to access it. No problem at all. And then I think I saw one other question. Oh, the name of the journal. She is referencing our budget planner. Also, in the back of the PDF, you will be able to reference all of the products that are referenced on this podcast. So my apologies, I interrupted.
Have the PDF guide. Erin Condren will provide that to you guys. Look in the comment section.
And they'll keep dropping it.
Yep,
they'll keep dropping it in the comments.
That's right.
Just open it up in a new tab and you should be able to see it.
All right. So where do we stop? Oh, dream day. Okay. And so, yes, it's very important because even as couples, you do align. A lot of times we hear from couples who say, wow, I never knew that my husband had these dreams and goals. I never knew that my wife wanted to do X, Y, and Z. And so that's why we want you to first handle the mindset, then come up with your dreams, which is your goals. And therefore, that will give you purpose on why you need to be consistent with your monthly spending plan.
Yep. It's important. Proactivity has to be your new best friend.
Right.
In the book from Dr. Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the first habit is to be proactive. Think about it. Have you ever been inside a building that didn't first have blueprints? No, you have not, because no house, no building is ever built before a blueprint is built. Have you ever been in a class and been taught anything where there wasn't first a lesson plan created? No, you have not, because the teachers worked hard on the curriculum, looking it over, figuring out what needs to be taught first, what needs to be taught next, what needs to be taught next, so that you could enter through that class successfully. It takes proactive planning. No different from your finances. You need to plan for how your money is going to be spent before the month starts, or you'll get to the end of the month continually wondering where all your money went because you didn't have a plan.
That's right. So these are the areas that a good budget should cover. It should cover your income, your expenses, your savings, your debt, and then investing. Okay. So you want to make sure that your monthly spending plan, if you call it that, or monthly budget, whatever you call it, whatever you name it, it should include all of those areas. It's very, very important. Now, there are a lot of different, budget resources out there. I tend to be a paper girl, and that's why I like the Erin Condren budget book. But whatever your style is, if it's pen and paper, if it's a book, if it's something digital, we just want you to get in the habit of doing it. We want you to create it, and that's why it's so important.
You must have a plan, and you must then manage the plan. Now, we're going to give you an exercise that you're going to do after this teaching, and it's going to be uncomfortable. That's why we started with why. You have to first figure out, before you get to this exercise, you need to know why you're about to go on this endeavor. Because when the pain comes, you'll be able to reflect on that and say, whew, take a deep breath. Okay, this is why I'm doing it. I want to be debt free. This is why I'm doing it. I want to create more margin in my income. This is why I'm doing it. One day I want to come home and be with my kids full time. This is why I'm doing it. I want to start that new business that's been on my mind for 2 years. This is why I'm doing it. Okay, are you guys ready for the exercise? You're going to have to write this down and do it later. If you're ready, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, be a good friend. Don't be a bad friend and keep all this information to yourself. Hit the share button.
Before you jump into their assignment, I also want to make mention, again, I'm a big person of being organized. So if you have Erin Condren Life Planner, if you have their notepads, whatever it is, I see some people saying, what are the products that they're mentioning? You guys, it's all in the free guide that we created. So you'll be able to have a link to go to all of that. But what I would suggest when he starts to give you the announcement is to either get a notebook, get your planner, and write it down in there. So therefore, you can always go back and reference it as you start to create this new habit of creating a monthly budget, okay?
And it's so true. We always talk about how, you know, if you put that pen to paper,
Absolutely.
you're more likely to succeed with that
so
goal.
this is called, put this in the comments, the 90-day look back. The 90-day look back. Type that in the comments, okay? This is the name of the exercise, and we're going to break it down how to execute this exercise. It's called a 90-day look back because you're going to look back at, you ready? Your spending habits for the last 3 months. The reason we told you that this is going to be uncomfortable because you are about to take a look at yourself. You're going to start looking at where you've been allocating your dollars. And some of it you're going to recognize, like, oh yeah. And some of you be like, man, did I really? And that's okay. Everybody has to start somewhere. Nobody finishes a race that they never start. So you have to start. And we cannot go forward until we understand what's behind us to help us make some better decisions so that where we go in the future will look differently.
And another reason why this assignment, you don't want to skip over it, and it's so very important, is because these numbers that you're going to actually come up with are going to be the numbers to actually help you create your budget, okay? A lot of times what we find is a lot of people are guessing, oh yeah, I think I pay about $90 for electricity, and they don't really know how much I think I spend about $300 a month eating out, and they don't really know. So we don't want you all to guess or to be pulling out numbers out of thin air. This is why we want you to create this assignment and do this assignment, because these numbers is what you're going to actually put inside your budget, or you're also going to tweak them. You may find out, wow, I'm spending $700 eating out every month. That's too much. I need to lower it. So then you may say, okay, let's go down to $500, all right? So this is why you want to make sure that you do this assignment.
All right. That would be a good tool right to write down.
Yeah.
And a tough time, but an important time of year when you just finished all that holiday shopping.
Yeah.
And it's an important time to look back at and see what changes you need to make for the year coming forward.
It's a 90-day look back and not a 30-day look back, right? Because 30 days would only give you a skewed picture, because last month could have been an aberration. Like for a lot of us, we spent a lot of money for the holidays. And so that's not an accurate picture of an average month for us. And so that's why we go back 90 days. So you're either going to get, if you are a paper and pen person, you might want to have 3 sheets of paper. You can use a notebook. You can use, if you're a digital person, you can use Excel, and you can create a spreadsheet with 3 tabs. So you're either going to have 3 sheets of paper, if you're a paper and pen person, or a notebook, or you're going to have something digital that you can do it. Here's why you need 3 pieces of paper or 3 pages in your planner, because each page represents a month. So you're going to look back at December, then you're going to look back at November, then you're going to look back at October. We're going to take it 1 month at a time, though. So we'll just start with December for now.
Yeah, and then we also want to make sure that you are pulling your bank statements, credit card statements, however you spend cash, however you spend your money, okay? This is important. If you have more than 1 bank account, pull all those statements, okay? You have more than 1 credit card, pull all those credit cards. However you spend money on a monthly basis, those are the sheets or the records that we need you to pull to be able to complete this.
All right, so now that you've done that, now you're going to take it 1 transaction at a time. So we'll start with the first day of December. So you may see something like Shell, $38.11.
That's gas station.
Yeah.
Those of you who may not have that.
Sorry, I was going to, yeah. It's a gas station. So you'll put December 1st Shell, and you create a category now that says gas. All right, so now you got your first category. Now you look at the next transaction, and it says Target, right? $200.25, because you can't just go into Target for one thing, right?
Oh, I feel like you're calling me out. I feel like you're calling me out.
There, and it says $200.25. Let's just pretend you have a super Target and you went grocery shopping there, okay? So now you create another category that says groceries, and now you got your first groceries transaction. Now you just keep going, you keep going. So now at item number 3, McDonald's, $10.11. So now you got a new category, eating out, McDonald's. Put the transaction, and you do that for every single transaction on your bank statement, As my wife said, on your credit card statement, you have to account for where every dollar went for that month.
Now, here's a helpful tip. I would suggest.
Does it hurt already, guys?
Here's a helpful tip. I would suggest color coding. And I'm going to show you an example of my particular layout. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but this is my layout in the Life Planner. This is like on a monthly basis, right? Although you're going to have 3 sheets of paper, or you're going to use the notebook section in the back to accomplish this goal, I would suggest color coding, okay? And I got my markers. Erin Condren has a lot of other supplies that you all can choose from, but make each category a certain color. So for me, immediately when I think of groceries or food, I don't know, it's just the color green. I think about fresh produce, right? Or maybe I should be eating more fresh produce. That's why I choose the color green. And so for every food item that you put on these sheets, color code it. Just take your highlighter, put it right through, okay? So therefore, when you're looking at it, when you're all complete, you'll be able to say, whoa, I have a lot of food in the category. Oh, man, I have a lot of clothing category. Oh, man, maybe I have a lot of personal need category. Whatever it is, color code it, okay? So that's a good suggestion. Color code all of your transactions. So when you finally put all of this on your master sheet, you'll be able to easily identify them and choose them out and pick them out.
Yeah.
That's a great tip. Let me ask you this. What about those items? Obviously, you want to try to categorize as much as you can. Do you ever have like an others category of just kind of odds and ends?
Usually, though, when you are doing this assignment, you won't necessarily have a miscellaneous. So let's just say, for example, maybe you're getting an oil change. Just put that in the auto category. But when we show you how to actually do your monthly spending plan, you are going to have a miscellaneous category. Usually miscellaneous are those items that maybe you either forgot to pre-plan for them, or maybe they popped up. So for an example, maybe all of a sudden the tire blew. Well, we didn't know that a tire would blow out in January, right? Or February, whatever the month is. And so therefore, as much as possible to categorize every single transaction. That's going to be important. So try not to have a miscellaneous category with this particular assignment. Try to put it in a bucket if you can.
Yeah, so a category might be housing. The category might be, you want to separate groceries from eating out, right?
Absolutely.
You want to create a groceries category and an eating out category. It could be like Ty said, auto category. It could be a kids category because they got after school activities and things like that. So just try to label as much because that's going to help you as you prepare to create a new budget moving forward.
So after you've completed each month, so you're going to go through, let's just to kind of keep things simplistic, let's just say January, February, or March, okay? Let's just pretend that we were in November doing this assignment or doing this teaching. And so you're going to have transactions for January, transactions for February, transactions for March, okay? Then we want you to total each category for those particular months. So for January, you're going to total your eating out totals. You're going to total your grocery totals. You're going to total your auto gas totals. You're going to total your personal needs, personal care totals, maybe clothing. Each month, we want you to categorize or total up those particular categories. Then what we want you to do is to find the average. So once you have all 3 months, we then want you to take, let's, for example, say your dining out category for January, dining out category or total for February, and then dining out total for March. We want you to add all of those up, all 3 of those numbers, and divide it by the number 3. That's going to provide you with your average spending. So you'll be able to have a bigger picture, a bigger idea of how much money that you're actually spending in those particular categories.
Now, looking at your averages doesn't mean like that's it.
Correct.
You should look at the averages and be like, is that good or is that bad? Right? If you are averaging $600 at Starbucks a month, I don't know, maybe that's okay, you know, but that's something you should assess. The reason you're looking at these averages is to help you assess, okay, is that a number I want to keep as I plan for the next month of spending? Or is that something I want to adjust down? Or maybe something I want to adjust up?
Right.
Now you have information. That's so important because it's going to not be as fortifiable if you just attempt to create a budget without knowing your habits, because your habits what you've done can help you make a plan for the future. So now that you've done the 90-day look back, use that information that you just painstakingly gathered to form a budget for the month that's about to come.
So the way that this looked in our own personal lives, once we finally came together and had a conversation, what are some of the goals that we wanted to achieve for our family? I knew that one of them was I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom eventually. I was working full-time at the time, and I didn't know that having children was going to actually make me like, oh, I don't want to leave them. And so by the time we had our second child, that was actually a goal of ours, and it was a goal that we were able to accomplish, but we could not first do it without first making our spending plan. And this is why this exercise is so important, because remember, you are creating a monthly spending plan. Why? Because you have goals. You have dreams. You have desire. Everybody on this earth has a desire for something, right? And maybe it's not to leave a 9-to-5. Maybe it's not to be a stay-at-home mom. That's just my own personal story. And for us, it was also to pay off our mortgage. We knew that, hey, we were going to be full-time entrepreneurs. The goal was one day for both he and I both to be full-time in our own company. And we wanted to eliminate as much expenses as possible. For us, it was our mortgage. Some people probably thought it wasn't a good idea, but for us, it is. And so for you, you may have family and friends that may not like your idea. Oh, it's silly to get out of debt. Oh, it's silly to pay off your student loans. But if that's a goal that you have, don't allow anybody to change your mind or to get you off track. Our apologies. We're just making sure that the camera is okay. And tilting the camera. They said it looks great. And so that's why this assignment is so important, because of the bigger goal in mind, right? And now to this very day, we still create our monthly spending plan. You know why? Because our goals never ended. They may change once you accomplish them, but we just get new goals. And so, you got a question?
Right. Oh, sorry. Just a quick question for you on, I think sometimes we have a delay, so I apologize if I cut you off. How often should you do this 90-day look back?
We definitely suggest, if you're just starting out, to do it immediately, right now. And it's not a bad idea to at least do it once to twice a year moving forward. We've also had to do it because sometimes, just when you're in a rhythm, sometimes you don't really know your averages. Sometimes you kind of like lose your way a little bit. Everybody has those summer months, you guys. Here it is. We're financial educators, financial gurus, we like to say, or whatnot, or however people want to call us. But we have our moments where, hey, we're probably spending a little bit too much, right? Maybe this mama doesn't want to cook and I want to eat out more, right? And we just know with summertime comes really just kind of more activities outside, outdoor activities. So it's important. We actually do this tool. We actually do this exercise as well to recalibrate, to kind of bring us, center us back in. Hey, let's kind of look, are we able to tweak some things? Can we change some of our budget categories? Are we spending too much in this area? Do we not have enough money in this particular area as well too? So it's at least very helpful to do this at the bare minimum once a year. Yeah.
So remember, guys, your budget is your guide. It's going to guide you to those dreams and goals that you said at the beginning of this conversation that you're going to have with yourself or with your significant other. And so you have to remember that as you do the work. So now that you're ready to do the work, it starts with your income. You need to know what your paychecks are, not just what you get from your 9-to-5, but if you have other sources of income, you need to start with that, because what you're about to do is you're going to give every last one of those dollars an assignment. You're going to leave no dollar without an assignment, because if you leave a dollar without an assignment, it's going to disappear.
An assignment is just a category. It needs to go in a category of some sort in your budget, on your budget.
So you want to start with the 4 walls, right? You want to start with, okay, rent or mortgage, taxes or HOA fees, insurance, things like that, right? Utilities. Start with housing. Yeah. Then you're going to expand out if you have auto or food or basic clothing, and then work your way down from there.
Now, I see some people in the comment section saying, hey, my paycheck is irregular, or it may not be the same. And it was like that for us as well too, especially with being entrepreneurs too. Sometimes your pay can kind of change depending on from month to month. So in that case, we tell you to take an average, right? So maybe you're a hairstylist, for an example, and your pay is dependent on how many clients sit in your chair. And so take an average. Look back at your last, this is why it's so important to write this stuff down, you guys, and to have your monthly spending plan, because you're able to then go back in your book and say, oh, this is how much I made in October. This is how much I made in November. This is how much I made in December. and you're able to take your average. At one point in our marriage, my husband was an assistant principal. He was an administrator at school. And for some of you all who are in the education field, you know that most times during the summer, you don't get paid. And so because we knew that, we then made sure that we took all of our expenses, everything that we have to do from month to month, and we averaged it out. So therefore, during the summer months, we still was able to make ourselves our own paycheck. We were able to still pay ourselves. So it's important that if you have an irregular income, to take an average. Don't live off the full amount if you can. We do know in the beginning, maybe you're getting out of debt, maybe you're trying to get caught up on some bills, or make sure that you're not being paycheck to paycheck. But when you get to that moment, try to live on an average. So for an example, let's just say he got paid $3,000 a month. We only really paid ourselves $2,000 a month, took the extra $1,000, set it in the savings account. So during the summer months, we were able to still pay ourselves that $2,000 a month monthly pay, although it may not be coming from his actual company. So if you have a regular income, you must average, and you must conservatively, and you must plan all of your expenses around your average and not your real income.
Now remember, as you are making your plan for your income, it's not just about bills. You need to also be planning how much are you going to invest this month, how much are you going to save this month, how much are you going to send towards debt this month. Yep. This all encompasses your spending plan. Again, a budget is just you telling your money where to go. Put that in your mind and become okay with that you are being strategic so that you can make your dollars maximize for your good and not the good of everyone else.
Yeah, that's right. And here's one extra tip for some of you who may be married. The budget has saved our marriage a lot of times, of having heated conversations or very passionate conversations, because he and I both were able to say, what does the budget say? This isn't Ty's idea. It's not your idea. What does our monthly spending plan say? If our monthly spending plan is going to allow us to be able to do this or do that, fine, let's do it. But if it's not, because we have certain goals in mind, it actually helped us stay on track. So that's why it's imperative as well, too. And really quickly, before we start answering some of your questions, if you use credit cards, be very, very careful. We're not against credit cards. We personally use credit cards as well, too. But for some people who are trying to create a discipline of managing their finances a little bit better, we suggest using a cash system. Erin Condren has this beautiful, I love this by the way, accordion. And a lot of times when you see accordions like this, you think of, oh, this is what my mother used to put coupons in it. During the months where we actually use cash, because he has to pay cash for his haircuts, our son's haircuts, we actually put them inside of the accordion. So you can also budget this way, budget certain categories. Maybe you're going to put groceries. You're going to pull out cash for groceries, maybe cash for the kids spending for school. In that case, we will tell you to budget with cash before you start to really conquer it and manage it with credit cards. Now, if you're good at it, hey, by all means, go right ahead. But just make sure that you pay that bill off before the interest starts to kick in.
Very good tip. And just going back to one of the things you said about talking about like heated conversations in marriage regarding finances. I mean, I've definitely read that finances are one of the big stress points of marriage. Is that right? So absolutely. There's also a little bit of marriage advice in here too.
The reason that it goes south is because there's a lack of it, or there's not total transparency in the conversation. Mm-hmm. The animosity builds, and then things get out of place because we never had the conversations and we never took the time to get on the same page. You have to understand in this money thing, if you're married, your spouse is your teammate in this process. You all have goals. You have individual goals. You have individual dreams, but you should definitely have collective ones, and you all should definitely be working together to make it happen, because when you do, you actually make things stronger. When you try and just kind of do your thing, I'm independent, he's independent, or vice versa, you don't have the same level of stability and strength for the fight, because this money thing is a battle. It's a battle. And so you have to understand that.
Yeah.
Excellent point. Excellent point. What is next?
You should use
after that?
The time, speaking of what we just talked about, have financial meetings. Meet with each other. If you're married, sit down with each other and talk this out, talk this through. Like Ty said, that makes us both accountable, because we both looked at the plan, came up with the plan, talked about the plan. And then when it's time to execute the plan, we're both accountable to the plan. If you are not married, maybe find an accountability person, someone who can look you in the face and say, keep you accountable. You said that you were going to save this much. You said that you weren't going to be spending this much. Stop. You look you and point that finger and you say, stop it. Right? So talk with that person. Say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This is how I plan on doing it. Please keep me accountable. And this is something that you should do before every month starts. You should go into each month with a plan. Absolutely. So that means the plan should be executed in that last week of the month, even if it's the day before, whatever you got to do, get it done so that you walk into that new month knowing where your money is going to go.
That's right. So record it in your planner. We personally like to do our have our monthly meetings 5 days before the new month begins. And we like to make the atmosphere very casual and fun. So that may mean making your favorite cup of tea or a cup of coffee, turning on some music, just make it fun. Because it doesn't have to be boring. It's actually very, very exciting. I actually enjoy sitting down and going over our finances with him and talking about our future financial goals as well too. And so create the atmosphere that you desire to make this actually enjoyable. That's one of the reasons why, again, I love having physical products. Physical, for me, it's a lot more enjoyable than online, because I love, again, to highlight, to mark things up, to kind of see the big picture, to go back the previous months and look, wow, look at what we've accomplished. Look how we changed our financial lives over the month. And so that's why making sure that you have the proper resources in place is going to help you stay consistent.
Yeah, so you did the research, right? You looked back 90 days. Then you started to use that information plus the information around your income sources to create the plan, AKA the budget. And the only thing left to do now is to carry the budget out. Right. Now you move forward. And here's something you need to know up front. You're going to get it wrong the first month.
You're not going to get it
It's not going to work. No, guys, it's not going to work.
Look at what I wrote on here, you guys. This is the action steps notepad. And I put, don't strive for perfection, strive for improvement. Right? So it's a little note for me to remember, I'm not trying to be perfect at this. I might skip a day, forget to actually record my expenses in my budget planner, but that's okay. As long as I'm improving every day, making changes and taking the necessary steps to improve my finances every day, I'm headed in the right direction. And so because we're married, I have to also depend on him to make sure that he gives me the receipts. If he went out and things like that, and again, that's where the accordion, you can also put your cash envelopes in here as well as store your receipts and coupons in here too. And so make sure that you record your transactions every single day. Now, one last tip that I want to share in regards to that, this is something that I like to do. You don't have to do it, but it's not a bad exercise to do because you're actually building that muscle. But take your planner. I don't know if you guys can see this. Take your planner. So this says Monday the 17th. I actually had these transactions. Starbucks, $10.07. Soup for lunch, $5. Write down your daily expenses, how you spent money for each day in your planner. Another great tip, you can have a planner strictly for your finances. So you don't have to keep your schedule. Like I don't keep my schedule and things like that, or my business to-dos in this particular planner. It's just strictly for finances. And so write out your expenses. This makes it easy to then take it and actually pull it over into your budget planner, or have the conversation with him and say, oh, we kind of went a little bit over on Monday. We probably spent a little bit more than we wanted to. Let's try to draw back because our dining out category is actually dwindling down. So making sure that you record your transactions and then you implement them in your budget.
I like that. So you're really, consistency is key, and you're constantly checking in so that if you do need to kind of redirect, fix, you still have time to get back on track.
Be okay with the bumps and the bruises, because if you stick with it and don't quit, it'll become second nature.
Oh my gosh.
It will become second nature.
It will be rewarding. I'm telling you, there's no greater feeling in knowing that, wow, I was once one way with my finances and now I've totally changed that and turned it around. It's so rewarding to really reap the benefits of handling your finances the right way. It really is. I see some people asking, where do I find those products? You guys, make sure that you get the free guide that we provided. Erin Condren, somebody from the team, is going to drop it in the comment section, but it's also in their stories. You can download the PDF And you can check out all the different budget books and resources that we mentioned. There's actually a supply list right there with the particular links for you to purchase these items.
Very good. That is just so incredibly helpul. I'm really excited to sit down after this and do my 90-day lookbook. Well, I say I'm excited. I'm a little nervous.
It's easy list music,
but it's really good
for the process.
Yeah.
I like that. And the other thing I heard y'all mention is really kind of celebrating those wins too. When you do achieve those goals, it sounds like y'all set aside time to celebrate that as well.
It's so important that you do incorporate wins and rewards. So for an example, again, we just like sharing real life examples, and we don't mind sharing our business. But for us, when we were paying off our mortgage, we actually set goals that for every $10,000 that we pay off, let's celebrate. And for us, we live in a very beautiful city, Chicago, and we're able to go downtown and we'll stay at a beautiful hotel and go to a nice steak restaurant, and we just enjoy ourselves for a day, and then we get right back to work. And so then our ultimate reward was to actually surprise our children and take them to Disney World, which we were able to do right before the pandemic and everything shut down. But it was so rewarding. So make sure that you incorporate wins and rewards. For you, it may be, hey, if I can save $500, I'm going to buy those, favorite pair of shoes that I've been wanting, right? It doesn't have to be something big or grand, but make sure that you do reward yourself, because it's very important. Or maybe for every $200 that you save, you buy yourself a nice Erin Condren product. I don't know. Whatever it is. Making sure that you actually reward yourself along the way, because you're going to deserve it. You're going to deserve it.
Pause for a second there.
If
it's okay, can we take a few questions from the Awesome. I have one. How has this is from the audience, how has your goals evolved over the years?
So at first it was to get out of consumer debt. We did it. Then we went to the next level. We said, you know what? Let's pay off our house. And then we did that. And then we really focused in. The whole time we were investing, but then once we did the house, man, we really ramped up the styles of investing that we did, what we wanted to invest in. And so that became our focus, as well as growing our company and expanding on that. And so just as life continues to move forward, and that's just a natural byproduct of achieving goals. It gives you the energy to know that you can achieve goals, and it gives you the energy to want to create some more to go after.
And we were actually able to give more as well too. That was has been so rewarding, that because we were handling our finances a certain way, we were able to make sure that we still also gave along the way, and just help no matter what the amount was, but we were able to kind of give, and it's definitely one of our life goals to continue to do so. So yes, our goals definitely evolved throughout the years. At first, in the beginning, it was all debt strategy. We couldn't see anything else but getting out of debt. Then once we got out of debt, it was more of building wealth strategy. We still built wealth along the way, but the goals just shifted to more of building wealth as well. So thank you for asking that question.
No, that is so insightful. And another question from the audience. You referenced doing those financial meetings. How long do you normally spend on those?
Because you have to find a rhythm, right? You might have to look over all that information and come up with a plan for the first time. And then the next month it might be a little less, or it might be the same amount. It's just going to come with repetition, that the meetings will go quicker because you all find a rhythm and a flow, and you know what you're doing. But at first, be prepared to spend some time at it.
And another helpful tip, because I love this stuff so much, I try to give him the plan a little bit more.
I have an Erin Condren plan. I just got to do better at executing.
He just has a built-in life that's just
true. I just asked her.
And
so what am I doing?
Plan. But I will say this: I like to prepare prior to the meetings, because I know that, we have 3 children, right? And so I know that they can't be too long. And so prior to the meeting that week, I'm actually kind of creating the budget, or kind of looking at our transactions and things like that. I'm making sure that I have the totals and everything already ready, so that when we sit down, it's really an easy flow, easy conversation back and forth. Are there any financial goals? Are there any things that maybe we have to do next month? Are there any trips that maybe we have to take? I kind of already come prepared with the questions and with the totals already prepared, as opposed to sitting there doing it with the calculator.
Yeah, that's a huge tip, because for some of you all, you're going to be trying to convince your partner to get on board. And if it's too long and drawn out, you might lose them. Yeah. So what Ty did, she would have things organized, but leave room for me to give feedback. Leave room for my ideas and my suggestions. Therefore, now we both have a part in it. Even if her part of the organization was bigger than mine, I still have a part. And now I feel a part of the plan moving forward. So that's huge. That was a great point.
That is definitely, I think, important for everyone to feel involved in that so that you're accomplishing it together. So I think that's awesome. Awesome advice there. Now, we did get quite a few questions regarding investments and things like that. So how about, where can everyone find you if they happen to have more questions, or perhaps they would also like to watch your
Everything
podcast?
is over at hisandhermoney.com. Again, depending on your learning style, if you love to learn better with video, we have a YouTube channel with over 200 videos, 300 videos there, and we definitely have a lot of information over there in regards to investing. You'll also find our podcast on our website as well. So we have the topic of investing also over there, or just various topics: how to get out of debt, how to build wealth, how to get started in real estate, side hustles, how to run a successful business. You'll be able to find everything over at hisandhermoney.com.
Yeah, if you go there and click on the search bar and just type what you are trying to figure out, we promise you we have content there that will answer that.
Well, we were so grateful to have you today. This was incredibly useful. I think everybody has some homework that they need to go do right after.
We see our His and Her Money family on here. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Super just thankful to have you all join us.
Did y'all enjoy this? Can y'all let us know if this helped at all? Like, can y'all just tell us, like, yeah, we learned something, or nah, this was nothing?
All the thumbs up here, all the thumbs up here. Yes. And with that, how about we end with that giveaway that we talked about?
Oh my gosh.
We can't forget about the giveaway. So with that, as you saw, they referenced all kinds of Erin Condren products that were used in today's workshop. We are going to be giving away 2 boxes of all of those amazing budget tools. So with that, in order to enter, we're going to be saving this live in our Instagram feed. So after this live, go to our Instagram feed, comment on this video, include an emoji. How about let's do a dollar emoji, in order to enter. Super easy. So drop that emoji into the comments of this video once it is posted on our Instagram feed. Our team will be standing by to select 2 winners, and we'll contact those winners directly to get you that fabulous prize. Yes, don't miss it. Don't forget. Again, we'll be posting this recording as well as that wonderful PDF that they created for us. Thank you both again so very much. Thank y'all. Bye, everyone.